The Oriental architecture present in the northeastern cusp of Sicily is an expression of a mixed-race culture, the result of continuous hybridizations among different people. In the early years of the new millennium, Sicily was crossed by Norman militias. Few well-armed men conquered the territory militarily. The Normans, through multiple donations, tried to strengthen the Christian faith and reinforce the religious communities present in the area. The religious architecture, built in a very short period, had the typological imprint of Catholic churches with Latin cross plans and towered facades. They preserve Arabic traces in the structure of the domes and connections, and exhibit Eastern Byzantine traditions in their masonry and rich decorations. Thanks to the numerous deeds of donation of Roger II, 3 monasteries are established: Santa Maria di Mili from 1092, San Pietro e Paolo di Itala from 1092, and San Pietro e Paolo di Agro from 1117, whose architectures are similar and characterized by a dense and complex wall texture. In northeastern Sicily, there have been many earthquakes that have damaged and destroyed the local architectural heritage. Many buildings contemporary with the case studies have been lost. The architectures we are talking about have suffered not only damage due to earthquakes, but also those caused by neglect and abandonment. In fact, these architectures are located in rural areas, far from historical centers. For many years, they have been abandoned, used as shelters for animals, or sold to private owners. Paolo Orsi, Calabra, Salinas, Kronig are just some of the names that have studied a complex and intricate phenomenon such as that of the Italo-Greek churches in southern Italy. The reconstruction of the datings is uncertain due to the intertwining of population and domination, and the scarcity of sources. The peculiarity of these architectures is concentrated in the wall structure. Despite the studies, it has not always been easy to distinguish the original elements from the reconstructed parts, the original wall section from the reconstructed parts. The 3 selected architectures are briefly illustrated. Santa Maria di Mili was built around 1092 by the great Count Roger I of Sicily. The church has undergone many alterations, the most obvious of which has changed the length of the hall, transforming it into a church with a Latin layout. The side facades and the apse area retain the characteristic motif of intertwined arches and the mixed decoration in bricks and rough-hewn stones. The Church of St. Peter and Paul is located on the slopes of Mount Scuderi, on the eastern side of the Peloritons, not far from the village of Itala. It was founded, together with the monastery of the same name, in 1092, thanks to a diploma of Count Roger, future King of Sicily, issued to Abbot Gerasimo. The church has a basilica planimetry. The hall is divided into 3 naves with 6 columns, 3 on each side, with bell-shaped capitals on which brick and stone arches are set. The coverage is flaky. The transept has the same width as the nave, so it does not emerge and has 3 apses. The main facade is characterized on the lower level by a series of bow-shaped arches, at the center of which is the entrance portal. The portal has a double lava stone architrave, and between this and the first archivolt there is a zigzag ornamental brick motif. The archivolts are interspersed with limestone inserts. At the top level there is a series of blind arches, with a window in the middle. The side elevations are characterized by a continuous and uniform series of interwoven blind arches, with small alternatively blind windows. The arches intertwining generate trilobed arches, a geometric pattern very common in Spain and on the southern shore of the Mediterranean, from Egypt to Morocco. A characteristic that makes the church exceptional is the polychromy of the materials. made up of bricks different in shape and firing, interspersed with stones of different shapes and nature. The Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul, the last in chronological order to be built in this area, was built around 560, completely destroyed by the Arabs and finally rebuilt in 1117. The territory on which the basilica lies is strongly characterized by the particular ground condition that represents the ideal place for the construction of the small monastic settlement of the Byzantine era. In fact, the monastery for centuries was the fulcrum of the economic and religious life of the area. In 1794, due to adverse environmental conditions, the Agros stream was infected by the miasma produced by intensive flax cultivation, and the abbey seat of the monastery was transferred to Messina. In this context, the objective of this research is to automate the process of recognizing and segmenting bricks in wall structures to support the analysis of wall fabrics, a crucial task in archaeology and architectural restoration. To this end, we present a system based on artificial intelligence and implemented in Python, designed for the automatic identification of wall fabrics. Our approach processes a point cloud extracted from a facade to identify the wall texture. Following a supervised learning approach, some significant samples of bricks are manually identified in the wall and used to train the model to dissect bricks. The picture in the right corner shows an example of this section. Data points are suitably pre-processed to take perspective and color distortion into account and enhance the input quality. On the right, we can see an example of the output obtained from this piece of wall after the pre-processing task. Subsequently, we use clustering algorithm to perform the segmentation, where different bricks are represented by colored rectangles and colors are similar when bricks have similar areas. In this figure, on the right, we show the result of an example of segmentation. We can see that most of the bricks are currently detected and only a limited number of the bricks have not been identified. They are marked by red arrows. The support that the system can provide concerns various interconnected fields. For example, the result of segmentation can provide statistical information about bricks. In the table on the right, we report this analysis done on a portion of a wall with a width of about 3 meters and a height of about 2.5 meters. We set the system to detect bricks with an area of at least 50 millimeters squared and we found 206 bricks. Then we measured minimum, maximum and average of their widths and heights. Such statistical information can be used for identification of homogeneous areas and recognition of masonry sections built with different bricks. Alongside the numerical and abstract information, some reflection related to the knowledge of places and architecture are possible. In the surrounding area of the monasteries, traces of kilns where the bricks used in construction were made were found. Through the study, it will be possible to identify the standard morphology of the brick, which also constitutes a sort of digital fingerprints of the church. The size of the bricks influences the geometry and layout of these architectures. The research is only in its early stages. It is planned to implement the analysis on multiple samples and to evaluate not only the typology of bricks but also their arrangement. This last element could facilitate the recognition of the different phases of construction or restoration of the church. The lateral facade, for example, are decorated with intertwined arches, entirely decorated with bricks. The spacing of the arches, the regularity and overall morphology are determined by the size and arrangement of the bricks. The bricks placed on beds in different ways, stretcher, roll of stretchers or heading, determine the repetition or alteration of the geometric formal modules that are reiterated in the elevation.